Air Flight Huarache OG.
Peoples in the city, making ends meet, getting by, thinking about the hustle. Everybody struggles for the answer. Confusion will attack in a cold-blooded manner. But cancer kills my society. No need to lie to me. Real people fighting always try to be correct with the mental and upright with the info. Catching help, they induce, but could it be so simple? The dark cold planet, you can't take the drama. The worry under bullet got the bulletproof armor. Surviving's just a job as they dodge caps daily. People going crazy, everyone who raised me. Thanks to my mom, and thanks to my pops, and thanks to the youth rowdy on the rooftop who warned me of trouble, so son, get the bonus. I dedicate this to those who kept me focused.
Alright, so what's up YouTube? Just another quick pickup video for you here today, and it's going to be on the Air Flight Huarache original from 1992 in the white, royal, and purple colorway. For the most part, I'm gonna be just talking about the colorway and comparing it to the previous retro. I kind of went over the, how they did on this version of the shoe in the Kobe pair video, so you can check that on the channel if you want to see just what I think about this retro in general. So we're just gonna compare this one real quickly to the previous retro from 2014. There are a few stark differences as far as this pair and then the last retro. And I think overall these are a lot better, but we're just gonna go through it really quick. Number one, like this pair was from 2014, I believe, was labeled as a premium pair. So like the biggest difference, or one of the more obvious differences, is the material. So these actually have like a decent cut of leather on them. Like if you can see how the toe creased up, it creased up like it's an actual decent cut of leather. Where the new pair is strictly a synthetic. It's not in a vacuum. The material is not as nice as this material. However, just because something's synthetic doesn't mean it's bad. Like we have to remember, like these are originally basketball shoes, performance shoes. So a synthetic can be very useful. It can be lighter than a real leather. It can breathe better. It can be more durable and still be soft to the touch and everything like leather. So just because something's synthetic doesn't mean it's bad. So I actually prefer that they went back to a nice synthetic versus having like real leather, like a thick cut of leather like this. Like, cause this isn't gonna do nearly as well with creasing and such. Like I didn't hoop in these. That's just, what I mean? I didn't even wear them that crazy. And you can see the leather was just kind of, if you can see on the medial side here, it's just kind of just prone to creasing just based off of, the type of material they used. So that's for me, I prefer that on the newer pair. Another thing, and it was a big talking point as soon as we got pictures of the newer pair, was the actual colors. So if you look, the blues for the most part aren't that different. I know this one kind of has like a sheeny finish on it, but if you look at the purples, the older pair is more of a berry color, and then the newer pair is more of a straight varsity purple color. And that was a big point of contention I was seeing in a lot of the conversation when pictures of the new pair came out, that the purple was way off, and it's obviously different. But I actually did a little research trying to check back, and there are original pictures where the purple looks like these, and there's also some where they look like these. So I'm not sure if when they were making these, if they went back and checked the originals, and the ones that they happened to check happened to be the ones that look more like these. But I did see originals where it kind of looks, it's both ways. To be honest, it's not a big issue for me. Like I like them both ways. I don't even know if I necessarily have a preference. Maybe I lean a little bit towards the berry, just because for a long time this is how I saw them. It was only when I went back and did a little research on the other originals that I found pictures of a pair that looked purple just like these. So I don't know if they were made in different factories or what. So, but I like them both. For me, it's not that wasn't a deal breaker for me at all. I know for a lot of people, they were saying, yeah, they were really upset that the purple was so different. Another difference is, if you see here where the purple is, it comes up quite a bit into the opening there in the side panel, whereas on this pair it doesn't come up quite as much, so it's not showing as much. That is like, I don't like that. I wish it did show a little more, just so you can get that extra pop of color, but again, that's not really a deal breaker per se, so it wasn't going to stop me from buying them. Oh, also, I guess I should explain how I actually finally got them, because these dropped back in June, and I took an L on sneakers, and then I was going on like the other little boutique sites that normally get them, like, you know, Oneness and GBNY and sites like that, and I was actually able to double up, or so I thought. So I thought I was good, so I didn't even, you know, bother like checking any other sites anymore. And then come to find out, I went and checked one of my confirmation emails. I think it was from GBNY, and there were no shoes in my. Apparently, there was no shoes in my order. It was just like a little insurance thing that they always tack on. So I guess I got cart jacked at the last minute, and then the other order just got canceled. So, you know, I went from doubling up to nothing. And then here we are in September, and I randomly pop into one of my local outlets, and bam, you know, they're sitting there. And retail was $125. They had them for $99. So it was, and I'm a big footer. I'm size 13 in these, so no question I was copping on site. So yeah, I was really happy to, you know, get that come up. I ended up working out in the end where I actually get them a little bit under retail. A couple other small differences. If you notice, the heel portion of the last pair, the Air on the back, it's stitched in white, and then on the new pair it's stitched in purple, and this is the correct version. According to the original, it was actually supposed to be stitched in purple. And then also on the outsole, the Nike Air on the last retro was in blue, and on the new pair it's in green, and this is correct to the original. So, you know, a lot of those smaller details they did correct, which I was happy to see. And then I did see that I guess one of the project line managers that was working on this retro, they said that they wanted it to actually be playable. So they were trying to, like, you know, do it close to the original so you could take them to the courts. And there is a stark difference in how these feel on feet versus this pair. Like, these feel like absolute bricks. Like, these look worn. I really didn't wear them that much just because they weren't all that comfortable. But these are much more comfortable. The midsole is much softer, so they did a great job on that. Even though these aren't quite to the level of like the first retro from 2003, those were super comfortable on feet. These aren't quite that comfortable, but still much better than these. And then overall, one other thing I wanted to point out was the construction on this pair is definitely better than the last pair. There was an issue with the last retro that was like widespread. So if you see here, like, this panel actually split on me right there. You can see it where the gray and the white leather meets. And mind you, I didn't hoop in these. I literally was just walking in them, and somehow this still split right there. And then I actually picked up the white Laker colorway when these retro in 2014, and I was gonna hoop in that pair. And literally, when I went to go hoop the very first time, within the first 5 minutes, it was, I don't remember if it was the lateral or medial side, but this part here on the leather where the laces are, it literally started ripping from the bottom, and it ended up ripping all the way through, and it got to the point where there was no like support there, where if you go to cut, like, my foot would just completely be going over the shoe. And I'm talking about within 5 minutes of playing, you know, the leather started ripping. So these, from a quality perspective, were not made very well at all. So I'm very happy to see that they definitely improved it on a newer pair. Also, just checking, like, the insole on this retro is white, and then the insole on the new pair is black. Tuck the laces in so you can actually see it. The insole on the new pair is black. I believe it was like this on the original as well. And then they did do a decent job kind of fixing the shape. When I compared these to, like, my 03 retro, I don't have an original pair, but I compared them to the 03 Retro. They're still not quite as good as those were, but like the toe shape and everything, it kind of has, it is much more sleek than these. Like you can see these kind of have that, you know, that toe was sticking up. Once again, I didn't even hoop in these. That's just how these were. The toe was sticking up like that. So he did a good job improving the shape as well. So, and then the retail was only $125. I think on these retail was, oh, I guess it was only $115. So never mind. I was gonna say the retail didn't really go up, but it was $115 on these, $125 on these. And to me, I think the runner Huaraches are like between that 120, 130 range as well. So 125 for this level of materials and build quality, and then, you know, a soft midsole and everything, I'll take it all day, any day. Especially when you see how the, you know, the retro Jordan prices are. So yeah, I would say check your local outlets, make some phone calls if you need to, call a friend. I know these definitely popped up in a few outlets, I think in Florida and California as well. Yeah, see if you can pick them up if you weren't able to hit on RD. I know, like, at least for me, these like completely sold out on RD, and then the other colorway, it was like navy and pink, like sail navy and pink, sold out on sneakers. The Kobe pair sold out on sneakers. So I'm not sure if, you know, what happened with the stock, but hey, I'm not complaining there. You know, I came up. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna be it on that. So these are once again the Air Flight Huarache in the original colorway. As usual, if you like this type of content, do all that good YouTube stuff for me. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.